So one thing to know about me is I personally love supporting independent companies, especially when it comes to independent films and TV shows. And so in today's video, I want to talk about a new independent animated show that has just come out and honestly blew my mind when I watched it. I am of course talking about Knights of Guinevere. Now, if you don't know anything about this show, don't worry, I'm going to explain it very quickly. So first of all, it is made by Glitch Productions, the same people that brought us The Amazing Digital Circus, Murder Drones. So they are already pretty well known. Even if you haven't watched these shows, you have probably seen media of Glitch Productions somewhere. Now, Knights of Guinevere is also created by the same creators that made The Owl House, one of Disney's best shows in my opinion. And if you're not aware, Disney did not really treat this show that well. They basically cancelled the show, making them completely rush the ending. And yeah, Disney basically did The Owl House so dirty. So to see that they have had complete creative freedom and control over Knights of Guinevere, it is very evidently so that was the case, because this is just, it is so good. Now, at the moment, only the pilot is out, and that's because obviously this is independent. It's going to take quite a long time until the next episode is out, and unfortunately, we don't really have an estimate time as to when the next episode will come out. And honestly, I feel like buying merchandise from this show just so I can support it. Because from what I've heard, all of the money through merchandise sales goes to the animators making the show. And I just think that is really good. I think more companies need to be like this. Obviously, animation takes such a lot of time, patience, and talent as well. Like, animation is very difficult. Believe me, I have tried and I have failed. I know how hard it is to animate. And that being said, the animation in the show looks absolutely beautiful. That is the first thing I will say now. This is one of the prettiest shows I have ever watched in my entire life. I know I'm saying shows even though it's only the pilot that's available, but we'll just work with it. Oh, but Freya, what is Knights of Guinevere actually about? Well, I have the actual website here, and it says on the website, Knights of Guinevere is a psychological thriller set in the far future that welcomes you to a planet-wide amusement park in the clouds and the shadows beneath it, where a broken princess android might be two dreamers' tickets to better lives or the end of them. So that is very mysterious, which is definitely the vibe the show gives off as well. I will be talking about the pilot in depth in this video, so I will be talking about spoilers, but honestly, it's only 30 minutes long. I would say definitely check this show out on YouTube. It is definitely a very dark psychological show, so if you're into that sort of stuff, honestly, what are you waiting for? You don't have to pay to watch it or anything. And that's what I love the most about it. Like, honestly, Glitch Productions could charge people to watch the show. There is nothing stopping them. They could charge like maybe £1 or £2 or something, but they don't. They don't charge you to watch it, and it's just completely free to watch on YouTube. And I actually really support that so much. So consider this your spoiler warning. I'm going to start talking about the pilot right now. Now, just from the opening scene alone, you can tell this is going to be a very dark show. We have Guinevere, who is an android princess. Okay, she's an android. She's not a real human being. However, she does seem to have guts that do actually symbolize guts. You know, they could have made her design to be completely robotic, mechanic, but they didn't. They actually chose to actually show that there's human to her as well, which is honestly terrifying as well. So at the beginning, we hear the story about how Olivia is seemingly a princess who is trapped, but as you actually watch the pilot, you start to think, actually, maybe Guinevere is the princess that is trapped. So one of the key points in the pilot that loads of people have actually been noticing is it pretty much slaps Disney in the face, and I'm gonna explain why. It is very obvious that Guinevere is supposed to portray like a Barbie sort of character or a Disney princess, you know, part of a theme park and amusement park, which I'm pretty sure is where Disney make most of their money anyway, from their theme parks. And there's loads of scenes in the pilot of them constantly mass producing merchandise and stuff for Guinevere, loads of posters of her, loads of events for her as well, kind of like what Disney do. And then they show us the dark side of it all, where most of the merchandise just ends up being rubbish in landfills. And that is pretty accurate, not just for like Disney products, but any product really that's being mass produced. You know, we buy it when it's trending, and then eventually we will just chuck it away and we won't think twice about where it's actually leading to, and thus we get stuff like this. Now, I know loads of people have been saying, oh, but there's loads of links of buying merchandise from the show, so isn't Glitch Productions basically doing the very thing that they're against in the pilot? No, I don't think so, because like I've said, the money that is actually spent on the merchandise actually goes towards supporting the show. Another thing I want to talk about quickly, I know I've already spoken about the animation, but I want to talk about one scene that completely stood out to me later on in the pilot. So it's a scene where our main characters, Frankie and Andy, are running away from this sort of monster robot thing that's trying to attack them. We don't really know that much, and that's what I also like about the show, like all the mysteries and the unanswered questions. The colours go from colours to black, white and grey, and I really like this just in media as a whole, because they could have just done darker colours for this scene, but no, they actually chose for it to be black, white and grey. And I know it's very random, but I love it when media does this anyway. Obviously, there are loads of theories as well about this show. There is definitely a time skip as well from the first scene to later on. Also, just saying this now, this old person in the bed, that is Olivia. I'm pretty sure if it's not Olivia, I will be very surprised, but it's very obvious there is a time skip. And just honestly, you need to watch this show for yourself. I realise I've probably not spoken that much about it, but that's just mostly because we don't really know much about this show anyway, that I really like. It does a really good job at raising a lot of issues, especially in today's society, but it also doesn't slap you in the face with it either. It's not like, oh, you're supposed to notice this, you're supposed to notice this. It's just sort of there, and if you get it, you get it. If you don't, it's okay. So that being said, I would definitely recommend this show. It is amazing. I could probably go into further detail about it, but I would have to rewatch it, and honestly, I just wanted to get this YouTube video out while the pilot was still fresh on YouTube so more people could come across it. But honestly guys, it's only 30 minutes long, and if you don't like it, that's okay. You don't have to like everything, but personally, I really like it, and like I said at the beginning of this video, I will always choose to support independent studios, especially when it comes to films and TV shows. So that being said, I will actually link the pilot in the description if you do want to check it out, and you'll probably see me in the next video with like a Princess Guinevere figurine or something. But yeah,